As we all know, Colossal Kong has finally come out and made his debut in a couple of tournaments, both locally and at a big one. Today we're going to take a look at what kind of teams we can build with this awesome monstrosity. Welcome back, fellow Clixers, to Clicks with Clifford. I am Clifford, as always, bringing you a team building video. This is going to be our first one, hopefully in a series where we experiment with different types of teams, and today we're going to talk about the mighty Kong. Before we get into the teams, though, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like Heroclix action, and join the Discord, where I've created a Discord channel talking about the very idea of Kong team builds. But let's go ahead and get into it. Before we get into the teams, we're going to talk about his point values. He has a 500, 300, 250 point starting lines. Now, his 500, we're not going to be talking about at all today because in a traditional tournament, that is never going to show up. If you want to build him, and like if you guys are building like 1,000-point teams or something like that, he might be a viable option. But we're only going to be talking about the 300, 250. I've also printed the card out right here so that you guys can see exactly what he does, so that as we're progressing through, you can reference back and see, what Kong does. Now I have hopped into HC units for our team building needs today, so we can see everything on the team just out in the open, nice and easy to read. If you hadn't used HC units before, go ahead and try it out. It's pretty awesome. Now, for our first team, we're talking about just 300-point Kong. That is it. The only thing on your team is him and the terrain that he generates when you quake. Now, he does have a whopping 15 clicks of health at 300 points, which is pretty amazing. Not to mention, he reduces penetrating damage that entire time, and he can't be outwitted. So, he kind of has some longevity as far as not taking too much damage. And, it might be worth playing him at 300 points. I'm not quite sure. I haven't tried it out yet. I feel like you'll always take an action because you'll only have him. So, of course, the other opponent's team's going to be probably more characters, so you're going to be able to use your colossal willpower twice per turn, so you're probably never going to run out of actions and going to be able to do something with Kong each and every turn. You'll also be able to take 2 actions, so that's kind of like having 2 characters on the team that hit pretty hard, especially at top dial. He's got 13 attack. He's really not that bad. We're going to have to give him a shot, though. He does also have 3 stop clicks, which is pretty amazing. But there are a few figures out there that stop defense powers, so maybe just having all of your eggs in one basket might not be the best, but we're going to have to give this one a shot. All right, and for our team number 2, we're going to have a 200-point Kong, the Blackheart, the awesome new one that came out with the Wheels of Vengeance, and both of the Scott Porter LE figures that are all pretty cool. I think we both know what they do, but they're basically here to provide that +1 to attack for Kong, get that board-wide probability control, and just kind of, in general, provide assistance. One of the Scott Porters also can heal Kong 1 click at the beginning of the turn, so, pretty good. He's got a lot of stuff going on there. He could also carry, like, the one that has prob on its start and dial out, and get an extra prob, if that's something that you really wanted to do. Now, the main purpose of this one is actually going to be the Blackheart, and I'll throw his card up right now. And as you can see, he has this awesome awesome ability. The one all the way at the top, Prince of the Underworld, where you, for free, choose up to 2 adjacent friendly characters with the monster or mystical keyword, place Blackheart in a square of hindering terrain within range, which is 5 squares, and then place the chosen character adjacent to Blackheart. So you can basically, as a free action, get your Kong out quite a bit. I think at this point you're on like starting line 8 or square 8, like out, so then you can immediately use charge or whatever with Kong and just get him all the way across the map turn 1, immediately making use of both of the actions that he gets to make, so that you don't have to waste an action moving and then progressing with Kong. This is one of my personal favorite teams that I think I am going to try out. In an alternate version of this one, we only use 1 Scott Porter, and then we use the rest for like possessors. Like, you've got the new possessor characters out of the new set that can give Kong himself either steal energy or something like I don't know, probability control. That's pretty cool too. But yeah, the main purpose of this team is to have Blackheart launch him out, and have all of those benefits. And Team 3 is going to be very similar. And that brings us to our Team 3 idea, which is basically very similar to the Team 2, and that's what we were just talking about, where we have a 200-point Kong, the 50-point Blackheart, and then one of the Scott Porters. Doesn't really matter which Scott Porter, choose which one you want. I'd personally probably go with the one with the +1 attack giving, but it's entirely up to you. Now, in this one, we spent some extra points giving Kong Amit, one of the new chases from the new Disney Plus 2 set. And what this does is it gives him steel energy, so that you can see on the sideline we have Chthon. So you equip Chthon to Kong, or have him like possess him, whatever you want to call that, and then have the possessor Amit equipped to him, so that when you take an action and you hit, you get both steel energy and you take 1 damage. So it kind of equals out Chthon's negative effect. Chthon gives +1 combat values to Kong for his whole dial, which is pretty amazing. So +1 attack, +1 damage, all of the good stuff that you could possibly want there. But whenever your character takes an action, they take 1 damage, 1 unavoidable damage. So what we've done here is we've given Kong steel energy so that he can just heal that right on back. So it kind of equals itself out. And then we've also equipped Blackheart with Khonshu, which gives him probability control, so that you've already used Blackheart to move halfway across the map with Kong. You can then carry him with Kong, and then that provides a probability control as well. You're getting your +1 combat values, you're getting steel energy to heal back the damage, and you're getting a probability control, which is just pretty good. If you use the Scott Porter with the community tokens, you also get a board-wide probability control, so that could just make it a little bit easier for you to hit with your Banana Man. Now this brings us on over to our 4th team, and this idea is using a 200-point Kong, and then the Ultra Chase from Notorious, the Zod, Ursa, and non-Ultra Chase. Now, if you don't know how he works, he basically, at the beginning of the game, starts on his card, and then every time a terrain marker is destroyed, you remove one of his tokens. I think he has 6, or every turn. So every turn you remove one, and anytime a terrain is destroyed, you remove one, and then when it's done, you can basically put him anywhere on the map, and he's got some pretty decent stats. So this team is basically just 200-point Kong, ready to go bananas, pun intended. And you're going to destroy terrain using him, and you're going to wait out turns until Ursa Zod Non comes out, and hopefully Kong has done his job and beaten down the opponent enough that you can, when Ursa Zod Non comes out, he can be a formidable force, another 70 points worth of a guy to just wreak some havoc on your opponent. Now, there is 30 extra points left on this team. You could go with a Scott Porter, maybe the one with community tokens, so that you can get that board-wide prob, or you can alternatively just equip Kong if you wanted. You could go the Chthon and the Amit way, or you could just put the probability control on him. It's kind of up to you. You have 30 extra points on this one. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to try. This is actually the team I'm going to try with Kong first. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with that extra 30 points yet. Let me know down in the comment section if you like this team, what you would do for that extra 30 points. But we're going to go ahead and get on to Team 5. Even though this is my one, there's not a whole lot to it. It's pretty straightforward. Just Kong wreaking havoc until Ursa Zod Non can come out. Okay, and this brings us to our 5th and final build. Now, originally I didn't really know what to put for the 5th build. I just planned on using Kong for 50 points somewhere in the team. Now, someone beat me to it. This past weekend we had the Adepticon championship, and there was a guy who won it. I won't use his name just out of privacy, but he used Kong on his team, and it is listed above. Now, he had his Kong, of course. He also had the Death Metal Wonder Woman at 50 points, assigned with the Soul Sword, which is pretty good. A Carnage Silver Surfer with the Red Symbiote for free. Genesis and Apocalypse, both with the Sword Bearer trait. Scott Porter with the Sinestro Core, and the other Scott Porter with the Warlock Ring, which is all pretty good. And the main thing I wanted to focus on this one is he actually made use of all of the additional things that you can use in this set. So he's got a full sideline that includes Absorbing Man, Scrappy Doo, Chthon, War Machine, and then 2 mystery cards. And then he also has a tarot card. He has the minimum of 5 cards needed for a tarot deck, which is pretty cool as well. It's important to make use of all of the additional things that you possibly can, like tarot cards are free, so why not use them? It's a pretty cool team, but this is basically the idea, just throwing Kong on an already existing team, an already existing idea of all just good characters that are all 50 points or less. I'm sure he did his work in there. You're not getting like the double willpower out of Kong, but whatever. Oh, I mean, you might if there's a particularly large team you're playing against, but it's not too bad. And then he's just got so much going on this team that it was just fill it up with all of the best figures in the game. And that would be for kind of the idea to use for just one 50-point Kong. I hope you guys like this team. It did win the Adepticon this past year in 2024, which is a pretty cool thing. He won like a factory set or something out of it, which is pretty cool. Might be a team to look forward into using in the future. I didn't want to leave here today without mentioning one other team, and that is a team of just running 6 50-point Kongs. I think it might be fun. Like just 6 big monkey man running around. It might be hard to get a hold of 6 Kongs, but it would be a lot of fun. And that's going to be it for today's videos, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Join the Discord or just comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know how you guys are going to build with Kong, and I'll catch you in the next video. Later.